The Department of Meteorology is now involved in preparation for this upcoming season. We have now stepping up our game in the Department of Meteorology. We will be out there, out front, in the social media. We are now putting our Facebook page up live. We are putting out our Twitter account. We're putting out our podcast. So those of you into your social media, we want you to follow us on social media and so you can be abreast and aware of what is going on during the season. Also during the summer months, we know we're going to have these severe weather activities, which could include tornadic activities. We will be putting out these alerts on a regular basis as necessary, and we will be putting them live on all of our social media accounts. The Department of Meteorology, this hurricane season, is out to ensure that all of our citizens are safe and prepared and aware of what's going on during this 2023 hurricane season. So we look forward to hearing from you as you give your feedback, and we will be doing what we have to do to make sure that you guys are safe.
This has been Med Talk with Mr. Jeffrey Simmons, Acting Director of the Bahamas Department of Meteorology.
I'm Carissa Williamson, and this has been Your Government in Action, a proud presentation of Bahamas Information Services. Join us on Tuesday evenings where we bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, do Cuban teachers' limited English proficiency pose challenges to student learning? Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union President responds to concerns. Plus, we have the details from the Freeport Licensee Association's inaugural meeting aimed at equipping business owners with insights into their Hawksbill Creek Agreement rights. And police are on the lookout for a man they say armed with a handgun robbed a couple while sitting in their vehicle on Xanadu Beach. Those stories, sports, and more in the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight, the president of the Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union is addressing concerns raised by the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers regarding language barriers observed between Cuban teachers who are affiliated with BACAWU and students within the education system. BACAWU President Sandra Major calls these concerns disingenuous, suggesting that there may be underlying tensions between the two unions. Simone Davis has the details in this report.
President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, recently revealed that she's concerned that a number of Cuban teachers recently hired by the government cannot speak English and called on the Ministry of Education to investigate this issue. She noted that this is an issue specifically on New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Abaco. Now, while revealing that some 46 teachers were recruited from Cuba this year and are now represented by BACAWU, Sandra Major, president of BACAWU, says the Ministry of Education has been recruiting Cuban educators for the past 15 years.
What we see is we may have a few of our teachers who came who may have a challenge with the language. But in anything else, because we have 41 of them last year, and there was a smooth transition. This year, a few of them may have a language barrier, but they are our members. They are part of BACAWU. They are part of the BACAWU family. And what we want to do is encourage them while they're here.
Major asserts that she believes the real issue the BUT president has is the fact that BACAWU represents those Cuban teachers, calling her concerns disingenuous.
It's disingenuous. It really is, because if they were your members, the fuss would not be made. Okay? The fuss will not be made. So what we're saying is they're here, and we're thankful. There are challenges that we will work through. And that's what we're here for as a union. Together we are stronger. We're not here to tear anybody down. If there's a weakness, we can point it out, and together we can nip it in the bud. And BUT is not even a registered union, which makes it even why the ministry is entertaining them. But at this time, they have no certificate of registration. So just the ministry themselves entertaining them is a plus for them.
The Beckable president said her main concern, along with the Ministry of Education, is to address the issue of teacher shortage within the school system.
We are grateful for the Cubans. We are thankful to them because we know there's a need in this country. Unfortunately, right now, the Bahamas government, the Bahamian people, cannot fill that need. There is a need for special educational teachers. There's a need for technical and vocational teachers. So, because of the relationship of the Bahamas government and the Cuban, we have been invited to bring their teachers here.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
In other news, the Freeport Licensee Association hosting a meeting for licensees in an attempt to shed more light on the Hawksbill Creek Agreement and encourage business owners to be a part of the association. As Yolanda Thompson-Everest reports, there were mixed reactions coming from that meeting.
The Hawksbill Creek Agreement is an important factor to the development and infrastructure of Freeport, but these business licensees are asking for more than just paper and their signature on it. After an eventful night here at the Foster B. Pastina Auditorium, these business owners say that they are appreciative of learning their rights as port licensees, but they are more intrigued on what can be accomplished if this proposed organization is formed.
In Freeport, everybody turns to the Port Authority and says, what is the Port Authority going to do for me? And the reality is that we need for everybody in Freeport to understand that it's really up to us.
Knowles explained that the port is quasi-government and they do have the responsibility to administer the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, but they are not responsible for rescuing those in need. The consultant furthered that the agreement is pretty much based on 3 pillars, which needs to be fully understood.
The first being that the agreement granted the Crown, the government at the time, the right to conditionally sell 230 square miles of property to the Grand Bahama Port Authority. The second leg of the agreement is that the agreement created a free trade zone with certain concessions and benefits. And then the third part of it was that the government really didn't want to administer to Freeport and Grand Bahama, and so it created the authority that it granted to the Port Authority to administer and run the city.
Some of the attendees sharing that the seminar was helpful, but they look forward to seeing words in action, and at that very soon.
We need to come together as licensees to get what we need and what's warranted and promised to us. On the other hand, one of the questions that I had tonight for the panelists and in the room was, what is exactly the plan? How do we move forward?
I was quite surprised about the situation with the bonding. Because being in business, you always felt like this was something that you had to get approval for. This was something that was not really open to everybody. But now knowing that the process that we are so familiar with is not really the process.
The purpose of the seminar was about informing the licensees of the benefits of being a licensee and also making clear information that's confused or confuddled.
Some licensees in attendance were also disappointed that the Port Authority was a no-show.
I was curious after about 7 or 8 people contacted me about this meeting tonight. I didn't really know what it was all about. As a matter of fact, I thought that there was going to be a representative here from the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
If you look at the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, there's a clause in that where they were supposed to build a hospital, schools, and other entities, including provisions for the police and custom officers for accommodations for them to live in. That is a part of their Hawksbill Creek obligation.
Now the association is asking the licensees to become more familiar with the Port Group Limited, which is different from the Port Authority and serves a different role. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Yolanda Thompson-Everest.
Well, now Chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party and Minister of Foreign Affairs is commenting on that meeting. Mitchell says he believes the educational meeting was held on false premise, noting that there is no issue between the licensees and the government.
If the licensees have any issue, the issue is with the Grand Bahama Port Authority and whether the Grand Bahama Port Authority is performing under the provisions of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, at least to the benefit of the licensees. Now, where there is privity is between the Bahamas government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And the only question which our Prime Minister has asked is whether or not the Grand Bahama Port Authority and its related companies are in a position to carry out the provisions of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, which they agreed to do in 1955 and subsequently in 2 or 3 other agreements.
Mitchell also standing firm that the government does not propose to violate in any way the Hawksbill Creek Agreement.
All we said is the shareholders have an agreement with the government to act in a particular way, that is to divest themselves of the shareholding and find a new investor that can pass the due diligence test. There's no argument with the licensees, and people should not be dragged again into the internecine difficulties of the families who run the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
Switching gears now, the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation taking measures to help homeowners save their investment while also expressing gratitude to Grand Bahamians as the corporation reveals it has seen a decrease in mortgage delinquencies in recent months. Raven Davis reports.
Fired up! Ready to go? Good stuff.
Choosing your mortgage is not only a huge financial decision, but perhaps one of the most critical decisions one can make. That said, Bahamas Mortgage Corporation clients bracing themselves to glean valuable information from seasoned industry leaders during a Mortgage Matters workshop. With the primary focus often on securing a home, the workshop delving into what should be done to maintain the mortgage once the home is secured.
One of the largest names for the Bahamas Mortgage Corp is to ensure that Bahamians are able to qualify and to put them into homes and to keep them in homes. So we're here today to spread the news on how we would like people to continue to pay their mortgages so we can keep those individuals in homes. This is definitely a big day for us here in Grand Bahama, and we look forward to be coming back.
Acknowledging the constraints in Grand Bahama's economy, Bullard also offering Grand Bahamians a heartfelt thank you as he revealed that the corporation has seen a decrease in delinquencies over the last 12 to 18 months.
We're here to continue on that trend. We look forward to seeing an upward trend, delinquency going down, us being able to get more people in homes. Feel free, the site is open, it's updated. Go to the site, you can apply from there, and definitely again visit our office, and we look forward to getting you into a new home.
Equipped with the tools needed to maintain their financial obligation, BMC clients also sharing with our news team why they thought this initiative was useful.
I'm really interested in making sure that I'm a consistent consumer, but also not a long consumer. I want to be able to make sure that I'm able to pay off my mortgage in a timely fashion because there are other challenges or other opportunities that I'd like to get into. So definitely making sure that I'm able to manage my wealth, like he's been talking about thus far.
I've had my mortgage, and at the end of my mortgage, and I just wanted to know, like, what's the next step? So I thought it was needful for me to be here this morning to gain as much information as I can. And I think the main thing to do is to be very consistent with your financial obligations. I did it, so you can do it too.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Well, the month of September is dubbed by weather officials as the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. Tonight, the Grand Bahama Power Company, GBPC, takes the center stage in the discussion of hurricane preparedness. In a show titled Being Prepared, which aired on our ZNS network, GBPC officials unveiled their updated hurricane policies. Here's that report.
And each time we experience these storms, our goal is always to build back better and to have the lessons learned.
Hurricane Dorian inflicted major infrastructural damage to the Grand Bahama Power Company's operation. But Brittany Pratt, Director of Health, Safety and Operation, says it also served as a valuable teacher.
We hope that with each storm we take away ways to strengthen our system, our grid, and our processes to make sure that each time we restore in more safely manners and in a timely manner.
The Grand Bahama Power Company is now implementing a controlled shutdown when facing storm threats. Janelle Mizik, Director of Shared Services, elaborates on this strategy.
We will turn off the power or electricity supply to Grand Bahama should we deem it necessary to do so. In order to try or make an attempt for our system to somewhat protect itself, we will be doing a controlled shutdown, as well as to protect the safety of others, the safety of our employees and the community at large.
In the aftermath of a storm, there can be various factors hindering the restoration process. Donovan Cox, building manager and a senior electrical inspector at the Grand Bahama Port Authority, emphasizes that safety remains the top priority. Director of Customer Service with the Grand Bahama Power Company, Jared Moss, encourages customers to exercise patience during these challenging times.
The most thing for us with our customers and residents is for them to understand that we are working. We are in the back. It's not to hinder anybody. It is all based on the safety when they do enter into any structure, that they don't have to think on their mind that is it safe for me to be in this building.
I just want to implore the public, please, I know, once you see the power is turned on at your neighbor house, the calls start to trickle in, but just bear in mind, we're doing the best we can in order to ensure that, we get power to you as safely as possible.
Heading now into news from police. Police on Grand Bahama are investigating the circumstances surrounding an armed robbery of a couple while at a local beach on Saturday, September 9th, 2023. Police reports revealed that it was shortly after 9 p.m. when they received a report that an adult male and a female, while sitting in their vehicle on Xanadu Beach, were approached by a dark, slim male wearing a ski mask who was armed with a handgun. The culprit robbed them of a 2010 red Ford Focus, and investigations into that matter continues. Stay with us. When we come back, we introduce you to the new junior minister. That story, sports, and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery, fully loaded with everything you need and extended hours. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Doctors Hospital's reimagined primary care. We've invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations in Freeport and 8 Mile Rock, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
School is in. Here are a few safety tips brought to you by the Grand Bahama Power Company.
Kids, pack your school bag the night before so there's no panic in the morning.
Always buckle your seatbelt as soon as you enter the vehicle.
If you're walking to school, try to walk with a friend or family member.
Do not accept rides from strangers.
Always obey the speed limit when driving in school zones.
Use pedestrian crossing and crossing guards to cross the street.
Always cross in front and not behind your parents' cars. And remember to look both ways.
At pickup, wait for the vehicle to completely stop before approaching it.
And when all else fails,
be aware,
be alert,
and be safe this school year.
8:10 a.m. The Light. Coffee and conversation with me, Gigi, waking you up each day. The aim is to inspire you. The aim is to encourage you. It's a joy to come here each and every morning. I don't consider this work at all. I haven't worked a day in my life. That's how much I enjoy it.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. There is a new Junior Minister of Tourism program as Grand Bahama Academy student Alayla Lethan holds the 2023 title. Deputy Director General of Tourism Kenneth Romer was the keynote speaker at the celebration ceremony on the grounds, explaining the importance of the Junior Minister of Tourism program.
This breakthrough training initiative was designed to promote awareness of our leading industry among high school students. Its long-range goal is to generate a talent pool of young professionals to service our tourism industry and by extension our economy. This coveted program encourages high school students to develop leadership, public speaking, problem solving, and team building skills.
Now, Lethan became Junior Director of Tourism for Grand Bahama back in March of this year following a speech competition. Now being named the 2023 Junior Minister of Tourism, Lethan expresses her gratitude and goals to continue this journey.
This semester is one huge chapter of my life as I'm going to represent the Bahamas in the regional competition to claim the coveted title of Junior Minister of Tourism of the Caribbean. A title I know I will bring back home because I believe what God starts, He will finish. He allowed me to go from representing Grand Bahama Academy, my school, to Grand Bahama, my island, to the Bahamas, my country. So why not the Caribbean? Which is why I say to you, set goals, even if it is beyond your wildest dreams. Be kind, loyal, and supportive of each other, and trust God in everything that you do.
Well, the Anchor Club of Lucaya and Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Academy made everyone proud at an annual convention held over in the United States back in June. The members were able to win multiple awards, including one of its top honors. Their pilot club leaders say they couldn't be more proud. Shane Stubbs has more in this report.
The Anchor Clubs here on Grand Bahama came back from Bellevue, Washington with a lot to celebrate. The 9-member contingent traveled for its annual convention over the summer and came back with a number of awards, including the Ruby Newhall Award, which was won by Journey Bannister. As the incoming president, Bannister says the trip has helped her learn a few new things she hopes to implement in her new term.
We had different sessions to talk about different things that should be improved in the Anchor Club throughout the world. I feel like I can implement teamwork more and having everyone be open about ideas in the club.
The club is all about service, and Elena Green, who is the current president of the Anchor Club of Mary Star of the Sea, not only enjoyed the trip, but moreover believes in the benefits of being a member of the Anchor Club.
When I joined Anchor Club, I was not the kindest person, but now I feel like all of that has changed. The people I surrounded myself with, the people I talked to, the people I met, if that's visiting people at the elderly home or visiting the children's home or even giving pick-me-ups to teachers at school, I believe that whoever decides to join Anchor Club, they'll feel exactly the same.
The Anchor Club is the youth arm of Pilot Club International, and as leaders Antoinette Carroll, along with Melissa Sayers and Sylvia Cooper, they take pride in guiding their young servant leaders.
That is one of the pillars in the Pilot International where we mentor young people. It is our aim to make sure that we help them in their development.
It gives me joy to be able to impart some of my knowledge onto them and just to show them how it is to be a servant leader.
Services 24/7 because we're always willing or able to or should be able to provide service for persons in the community.
Now, coordinator for the Anchor Division, Monique Leary, says she was proud of the cultural display the kids showed over at the convention.
They used the Bahamian songs, the Bahamian products. Their display tables was just awesome. Imagine having to tote up their Gombe punch and Vitamals and coconut Benny cake. It was just an awesome experience.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Your Tuesday check on sports is up next with Jay Philippe.
I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to sports. High school sports returns this week, but also a major tennis tournament scheduled for this weekend. Let's jump right in. After a long break on the schedule, tennis is back with the Flawless Construction Junior Tennis Tournament scheduled for this weekend, September 15th through the 17th at the YMCA Tennis Courts.
This is an annual tournament. This is the third year that Flawless Construction has sponsored a tournament for us. And it's very important so the children could get out and play after summer. You know, they was on a break for a while, so it's important that they get back on the court. I expect top performance from the athletes, especially from Grand Bahama, because they've been training really hard, you know, and NASA always come in and they train real hard. So we're going to have some top players out to play. It is a ranking tournament, and we expect a good group of kids. It's just under 14 and under 16 girls and boys. We expect some athletes from Eleuthera and Abaco. We got some applicants from Eleuthera and Abaco and also Nassau.
Switching gears now in sports, junior cyclist Lonnie Duncombe is heading to the Caribbean Cycling Championships in the Dominican Republic this weekend.
This is my second time going to the Caribbean Championships. My main goal is to do better in the time trial because I specialize in time trials, and I also look forward to the road race and helping my teammates because I have two sprinters as teammates and they're very good sprinters. So I also look forward to meeting new people, seeing some old friends, and just overall enjoying the experience again to represent the Bahamas in a new sport. Last year, it was a pretty good experience. I enjoyed myself, met new people. Couldn't say that the road race went my way, but I did good nonetheless. I was able to finish, cramped up at the end, but still was able to cross the line. The time trial, I did my best, and I came 9th, so I was just happy that I was able to get in the top 10 position and do good and get a new personal best in that distance.
And finally, in sports, high school volleyball begins Thursday with the Ivan Butler Tip-Off Classic over at St. George's Gymnasium beginning at 4 p.m. In senior girls play, Tabernacle will go up against St. George's in the first game. Game 2 will see BMES matching up against Mary Star of the Sea. 8 Mile Rock will play Sunland, and LIS will challenge the winner of Tabernacle and St. George's from the first game. Games will continue through the weekend with championship on Monday. Ladies and gents, that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
We all need to save. Save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop. The new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save More Drugs, your more store.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
Maintaining strong relationships with superior customer service. Fulfilling all your insurance needs through commercial, property and casualty, marine and aviation, homeowners and contents, automotive for private and commercial, life insurance, medical, and pension investments. Being the best at who we are in Freeport since 1980.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
A name you've come to know and trust.
We've always been there for you.
So call us today at 350-3500 or visit our office on Pioneers Way.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited. Honestly,
nobody does it better.
This is a public safety announcement from the Grand Bahama Power Company. Customers are reminded to ensure that a transfer switch is installed when a backup energy source, such as a generator, is being used. When a storm strikes and knocks out power to your home, you may be forced to use a backup energy source, such as solar panels or a generator. Do you know about the potential danger or how to safely use backup energy sources? There's one major risk that you should be aware of. It's called backfeed, and it can endanger you, a family member, or someone else, especially a lineman or electrician working near your property. What is backfeed? Backfeed occurs when power travels from your solar setup or generator back through the utility line, resulting in them being unknowingly re-energized. Backfeed creates a very dangerous and potentially deadly situation for line workers and the general public. If your solar system or generator isn't properly installed, the backfeed of electric current could severely injure or kill a lineman working to restore power. The best way to avoid backfeed is by installing a transfer switch. Transfer switch ensures your household isn't connected to the power grid and the backup energy source at the same time. To prevent backfeed, generators, whether permanent or portable, should never be plugged into a home's wiring or directly to the circuit breaker panel. Be sure to have a qualified, licensed electrician install your backup energy source and a transfer switch, thereby eliminating backfeed. Preventing backfeed could save a life.
Have the following supplies on hand at the start of the hurricane season. A minimum 3-day supply of water, which provides 1 gallon of water per person per day. Minimum 3-day supply of non-perishable food items. Flashlights and extra batteries. A battery-powered radio to receive broadcasts that will keep you informed of the storm. A first aid kit. A 7-day supply of any prescribed medication. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Brianna Gardner, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We wish you a happy birthday and hope that you enjoyed. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, efforts to strengthen ties with Botswana. Regression in Haiti talks. H.O. Nash high flyers. And in sports, mixed results in Government League playoffs. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
A child succumbs to dengue. Good evening, everyone. This is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Makush Lopinder. Thanks for tuning in. In a tragic turn of events in the country's rising cases of dengue, health officials today confirmed that a 9-year-old has died from the viral infection that's now been deemed an outbreak here in the Bahamas. Briefing the media on the circumstances this afternoon, here's Chief Medical Officer Dr. Pearl Macmillan.
He would have presented with a viral type illness, but did not continue with the care that was provided. And unfortunately, he succumbed to the illness. We later got the result back, and we know that it was dengue.
Now, at last count, there were 88 dengue cases in country, again behind the illness, the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
There are 88 cases in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Of those 88 cases, the bulk of the cases are here in New Providence. We have 1 case in the Berry Island, we have 1 case in Exuma, and we have 6 confirmed cases in Grand Bahama. Also, to date, we have just over 189 tests done in the country, and of those 189 that have been tested, 88 are positive.
Meantime, President of the Consultants and Physicians Association, Dr. Sabrika Pinder, says while infection numbers on the COVID-19 dashboard have suspended, the virus rages on.
Our kids are just going back to school. A lot of people are traveling and coming off vacation. We're hearing anecdotally of a lot of people getting ill on vacation. There are people, not as many certainly as when we had the height of the pandemic, who are in hospital, not doing well. Even cases reported globally of people still dying from COVID because they're not thinking about it and still waiting too late to get help. So keep it in mind, be mindful, pay attention when we're going back to school. We know that our quote-unquote winter is going to be here soon too.
Dr. Pinder reasons that before there is another spike in COVID numbers, Bahamians who have not yet taken the vaccine should reconsider.
We have had so many persons impacted with COVID in the Bahamas and throughout the world. We do know that there has been a challenge with vaccines, and we've been fortunate, I guess, to some extent, that because so many persons have had the illness, that there perhaps has been some protection in that regard from the antibodies, etc. But as we look to see what may happen in the future and other strains coming out and have been found, there have been discussions again about advising persons to look into becoming vaccinated.
Well, police tonight are continuing their investigations into the deaths of two people, a 42-year-old man and his nearly 2-year-old son. Corval Pyfrom has more on what we have learned thus far about the strange circumstances surrounding these deaths.
Tonight, police are probing the circumstances surrounding the deaths of a man and a 22-month-old child. We've since learned the pair is father and son. 42-year-old Jermaine Miller, the complex's landlord, and his son Anwar died following a series of bizarre and still unclear late-night twists at an apartment complex just off Soldier Road.
Sometime shortly after 1 a.m. this morning, the police were alerted to a disturbance in the area of Family Street. That's off Soldier Road. On their arrival, they met a male who gave them some information and told them that he was being attacked by his landlord. When the officers went to the area that he directed them to, they met a male on the inside of his apartment. As they was about to confront him, he barricaded himself into a bedroom.
The details and circumstances of what exactly occurred here Tuesday are as hard to recount as they are to comprehend. In another bizarre move, we are being told that at some point, the alleged suspect even tried to escape out of this barred side window of the unit. Shortly thereafter, he was captured by police.
Through a window, the officers attempted to subdue him. They had to chase him a short distance. He jumped a fence and went into a garbage bin. They had to take him out of that garbage bin, and a struggle ensued between the officers and this male as they were making attempts to subdue him. Finally, they were able to arrest him. He was placed in handcuffs and brought back to the yard.
Later, the man appeared unresponsive. Shortly thereafter, in another room of the unit, police found the toddler in an unresponsive state as well. Attempts were made to save both, but were unsuccessful. At a late afternoon press briefing at CID, head of the Criminal Investigations Division, Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson, could not confirm the exact cause of death of neither father or son. He also confirmed that neither appeared to have serious external wounds. The elder Miller's behavior in the lead-up to these deaths prompted questions from reporters about his mental state and suspicion of drug use. Chief Superintendent Johnson couldn't say whether the deceased man was under the influence. An autopsy, he says, will have to be performed. Meanwhile, this neighbor who lives just across the street still struggles to understand what she saw.
I heard this loud noise. I heard loud noises, actually, and I looked out the window. I thought it was someone in our yard fooling with one of our cars, but I didn't see anybody. So I looked across the road. I saw this guy. He was the only one outside, and he had a baby with him. He had the baby in his hand. He rested the baby down, and when he rested the baby down, he was trying to take the cameras off the roof. Like, he was trying to yuck the camera off the roof. He did like 3 jumps trying to yuck the camera off the roof, and he wasn't successful. So he came to the Jeep, and he rested the baby down again. And I don't know what he was doing in the Jeep. He went next door to the tenants. He knocked on their door. And I guess when they opened, I don't know what happened after they opened the door, but the lady said she ran. I saw when she had a blanket on her. She didn't have on any clothes or whatever. She said she had to run for her life. And that's all I got. Honestly, that's what I saw with my eyes.
The matter remains under active investigation. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfrom.
Still on crime, police remain on the hunt for the suspects involved in an attempted armed robbery of an armored truck. The incident occurring around just after 1 this afternoon at the Bank of the Bahamas Carmichael Road location. Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson providing this update.
An armored car had just pulled up at the Bank of the Bahamas on Carmichael Road. They were about to commence a transaction at that bank when they were approached by the occupants of a Japanese-type vehicle. These occupants of this vehicle confronted the security officers of the armored car services. An exchange of gunfire happened between both parties. Nobody was injured, fortunately. Shortly after that, the car fled from that area. The police, being up and about, responded to that area very efficiently and was able to give chase of that vehicle into the Pride Estate area. Those occupants exited that vehicle and fled into nearby bushes.
Now, our cameras were rolling this morning as a suspect took police on a high-speed chase before coming to a crashing stop. It happened around 8:40 a.m. Police spotted the man in a white Nissan Note, license plate P8544, along Ponciana Avenue. The vehicle caught the attention of officers, who then tried to stop the driver. Instead, the suspect sought to evade officers, who in turn pursued him. That chase led them up Nassau Street onto Boyd Road to Providence Avenue, Chippenham, where the driver appeared to have lost control of the vehicle and eventually hit a fence, damaging the car's front end. At that point, officers descended on the suspect and upon searching the vehicle, found what appeared to be a 9mm handgun. He was taken into custody. Well, in more upbeat news this evening, fresh on the heels of a speaking engagement in Chicago, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis this afternoon led a receiving line at Odyssey Aviation to welcome the Republic of Botswana's 5th president, who's on official business here in the Bahamas. Our Lloyd Allen picks up the story from there.
The arrival of Botswana President, His Excellency Dr. Masisi, taking place on Tuesday on the tarmac at Odyssey Aviation. Now, he was officially received by Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis. The two officially began conversations last year in line with bilateral talks on issues like tourism, investment, and digitization. Now, once Masisi arrived here in Capital, a formal inspection was done at the airport of those officers, and after which they came here to One Montague Place, meeting with the Governor General, Her Excellency the Most Honorable Cynthia Pratt. Now, of course, dialogue continued between the two. We also have had a chance to speak with His Excellency, who detailed an important start to bilateral relations, which began back in 2006.
I do expect not only to get the sand between my toes, as I'm in Bahamas, but I also expect to expand and deepen our bilateral relations between Botswana and Bahamas. You may recall that we started our diplomatic relations in 2006, but preceding that, the Prime Minister of Bahamas then visited Botswana in 1999, and the then President of Botswana visited Bahamas in 2000. And we're going to rejuvenate these. We're going to be focusing on a number of areas of mutual interest so that we reciprocate tourism, financial services, agriculture, education, and health.
The president also indicating that digitization efforts between the two countries see many opportunities for collaboration.
One of the priorities of my government, as is the government of Prime Minister Davis, is to digitize as we modernize our economies so that we leapfrog and get ahead of the challenges that we face, you know, to migration, climate change, financial services, and anti-money laundering, etc.
And tomorrow, of course, this delegation, their tour continues at the private breakfast that's expected to take place at the Nassau Cruise Port. Reporting here from One Montague Place for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. Still to come, a setback in Haiti talks. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Just when Leo was about to buy this useless pair of Hands underwear, he remembered that it was Tuesday. Hungry for deals? You better come satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Crazy Tuesdays! 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Crazy Tuesdays! A finger-licking good deal.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
The countdown is on. Come on down to Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center warehouses on Marquis Street and Bacardi Road and get up to 90% off on these hotel furnitures. This is a sale you don't want to miss. Call us today at 698-0123 or WhatsApp us at 557-2522. And like us on Facebook, Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center, where you say hello to goodbyes.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
The Prime Minister adopting a hard stance. He's calling on the United States to readjust its position on an issue that has far-reaching consequences for small island developing states like the Bahamas. With the story, we turn to our Carla Palmer.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis says as a first-world leader of nations in the Western Hemisphere, the United States and its position on issues impacting the global community is regarded significant, primarily for small island developing countries like the Bahamas.
It's expected that they continue to lead, but lead in a way that is sensitive to our needs and that is responsive to our needs. And so, for example, I would wish to call upon them to revisit the statement that was made by John Kerry, where they are declining to consider assisting small island developing states in respect to some loss and damage, particularly for those over the last several years, which is burdening most of our small island developing states with the debt incurred as a result of recovery efforts following a hurricane.
The Prime Minister's request of the U.S. review made in Chicago this past Monday during a meeting with the business community and comes ahead of a major climate change conference, COP28, in Dubai in November.
I'm hoping that they could revisit that question and we could firmly address it and come out with concrete outcomes.
Back on June 30th this year, Prime Minister Davis relinquished his position as chairman of the Caribbean Community and Common Market CARICOM, where he received unwavering support of leaders from member countries.
The more alliances that are formed around the issues that are common to all of us, the better chances we have of succeeding in having what I call successful outcomes. I know the declaration that came out of the African Union's meeting in what they call their pre-COP meeting to enable them to go with one voice, not dissimilar to what we did last August when we called all the Caribbean leaders together and we went to COP with one voice and was able to make a difference in respect to the loss and damage debate.
Prime Minister Davis, regional leaders throughout the Caribbean are expected to meet in Grenada at the end of this month to craft a declaration with a unified voice on the issue before COP28. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Meantime, we continue to look at the country's economic rebound. You see, while there is progress in areas, with each gain, it appears to fall steps behind. Tonight, Corval Pyfrom has more from a leading economic expert on the government's need to loosen its grip, greater personal responsibility, and even more controversial, the call for a new tax.
It's about as plain speaking as it gets from an economic expert. The government needs to trim down. It may hurt to hear, but Fidelity's Gowan Bowe says it needs to happen.
Government needs to make it as palatable an environment for businesses to thrive, because government isn't producing anything. Government isn't, whilst it's a major employer, that's not where we want major employment. We actually want employment in the private sector, because we want government effectively as lean a machine as possible, but as efficient a machine as possible. And we know we are many years away from that.
Bowe says while there's some wishful thinking about the country's fiscal health, the reality remains that we are far from where we should be. A mix of government and personal responsibility is needed, Bowe insists, and restoration of the country's financial state won't improve measurably until real steps are taken.
We have to be a bit more disciplined and a bit more discerning that our fiscal affairs are in the tatters and they need to be restored. And notwithstanding the optimism the Prime Minister said, they're not restored when we have a debt to GDP that still is, well above where we would like it to be at 70% and in excess of 90%.
And he supports the controversial idea of implementing an income tax. Without it, Bowe says, the system is flawed and unfair.
The reality is our system now is consumption-based. I often get criticized saying, as big as I am, I would be one of the heavier consumers, but I may be one of the higher earners as well. And whilst you may eat a little bit less than me, we don't eat much different. And so my consumption and yours will be different, but if the individual on minimum wage and myself consume about the same amount, but our income is hugely disparate, then I'm getting away. And so from that perspective, income-based would say, well, if you make 100, you pay 10%. If you make 5, you pay 10%. Both of us paying 10%, we're paying very different amounts. Whereas right now, if we both consume $10, we're both paying the 40% tax on that.
Bowe's main message appears to be to the government to know its role, which he says is a facilitator and not a provider. He wants less government and more room for private businesses to chart their own way to succeed and for the overall economy to thrive. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfrom.
Thanks, Corval. In other news tonight, regression in Haiti talks. CARICOM's 3-member Imminent Persons Group had every hope of returning to Haiti last week to build on the inroads made during previous meetings with Haitian stakeholders in June and July and the outcome of informal discussions just last month. And this despite the situation being fragile. What they got during their 5-day visit there was in stark contrast. CARICOM releasing a statement noting that the EPG was disappointed that the tone of the discussions had hardened and that the positions of some stakeholders had regressed significantly. This, it said, reflected in calls for the resignation of Haiti's Prime Minister, a development that coincides with alarming deterioration of security in Port-au-Prince and deepening of Haiti's humanitarian crisis. The EPG cites that in this impaired political environment, it was agreed that intensive mediation meetings not only be delayed, but facilitated by video conference and if the EPG so requests, in person. Despite the setback, the EPG says it remains hopeful, though, that with determination, goodwill, and a recognition that the interests of Haiti must be the overriding concern of all stakeholders. And the EPG comprises former Prime Ministers Dr. Kenny Anthony of St. Lucia, the Honorable Bruce Golding of Jamaica, and the Right Honorable Perry Christie. Well, our news team also took to the streets to garner more public opinion on the government's two-year performance.
I'll give them an 85%. There's one or two things they can improve on, and I'm certain that sooner than later they'll improve on it and get it right. Like the road work, I know they're doing road works, but if they could speed it up a little bit more, it will be much needed for the people in the communities.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I give them a 7. I leave a little room for improvement. But I think they're doing a stellar job, especially with tourism. That's my bread and butter.
I like what's happening to downtown redevelopment. Also, I like what's happening with education, what's happening with the school. Everything was ready, and to me, that's remarkable. The only one problem I have is dealing with the crime situation with the young men.
In terms of 1 to 10, it's like 10.10. So I'm happy and I'm pleased. My family eating even better. So I thank God for that.
Well, as the Davis administration prepares to mark its second year in office, Progressive Liberal Party Chairman, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, says efforts continue to build on their accomplishments with the end goal of being re-elected. Mitchell's comments follow the release of Public Domain's poll, which shows a 65% approval rating of the job being done by the Prime Minister.
There are some difficult problems which we have to face, climate change being one of them, the economy being another. Of course, the issue of inflation right now, energy prices are a major concern that we're trying to tackle. So all of these have to be chipped away slowly, methodically, with certainty and definition. So the country has to look really in the long term.
The largest religious denomination in the country has a new man at the helm following Sunday's dedication and induction service at the William Thompson Auditorium. Fern Carey tells us more.
The new president of the Bahamas Baptist Missionary and Education Convention, Reverend Dr. Philip McPhee, is promising to reignite the mission field to bring relief to the poor, the downtrodden, and those in need of redemption, and to reach out to Baptists who have left the fold in an effort to get them to return. As the 11th president of the Baptist Convention, the veteran religious leader acknowledges the journey begins first with forgiveness, reconciliation, and a commitment to do better in the future.
To non-Baptists, to the Bahamas, we ask you to forgive us. And this new group of Baptist leaders will come into your community as we have already started with Andros. Our next stop is Exuma. We are going to change every family island identity that we lost in our tenure over the last 30 years to invite them to come back home.
Reverend McPhee's presidency follows the sudden death of former convention president Reverend Lloyd Smith, who passed away on Saturday, July 22nd at the age of 74. At the time, he was at a funeral service at the church he pastored, Mount Horeb, when he collapsed in the restroom, was taken to hospital where he died. In taking over the reins of the convention, which has some 400 churches under its umbrella, Pastor McPhee assured that plans are underway to train and mentor a new generation of Baptist leaders.
We must now prepare younger men to come to the forefront in the Baptist field. No longer will we just allow old men like us to preach. There must be a good word from a young man who conditions him and ourselves to make a difference for Baptists.
The Governor General was also on hand for the occasion.
To you all Baptists, you've always been leaders in this nation. Continue as the word was preached tonight. Let us be a model, a role model, particularly for the cinema. And so we give God all the praise. I won't speak loud, but we give God thanks because the Bahamas needs the Baptists. God bless.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Marcellus Hall joins us in studio with a check on what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports for this evening, the Government League basketball playoffs underway. All the full details just ahead in sports.
The fastest fiber covering the Bahamas. Do more, play more, stream more with BTC.
It's early still into the school year, but we are already supporting students and awarding their academic accomplishments.
I came up with an idea of an organization called Captain Bahamas, where I would dress up as an environmental superhero and stop people from hurting the environment. I gathered pictures from all of the activities that I was doing, and I combined it into a book, and I submitted it to the Bahamas Primary Student VF Foundation. I was happy that I was able to pay my first 2 terms of school with my earnings, and I was happy that I got a laptop.
I started a club in November last year, 2022, and its name is the Cleaning Campaign Club, and every other Monday we would meet in a second grade classroom and we would clean up trash around the school. The vice principal, she came up to me one afternoon. She invited me into her office and she said, "Here, this is an envelope for your mom. Don't open it. Let her see it first." And when I showed it to her, she said, "Oh, wow, Kristen, you're the primary school student of the year nominee for Sinans." And she and I were so excited. The advice I would give to other students are be a team player and join as much extracurricular activities as possible.
The things that I did to become a nominee, I was involved in many things such as a basketball club, Rangers, and a church band. As I won the Student of the Year nominee, I won a $2,000 scholarship from BTC.
Here's wishing all our students a safe, successful, and productive 2023-2024 school year. Be well and be back here next. BTC Connection.
Disasters strike with little to no warning. We hope for the best, but should be prepared for the worst. And you understand that an always online communication system plays a critical role in business as usual when emergencies occur. At Teleport One, we can prepare your business to operate as normal with our many voice, data, and video solutions. Contact us today and let our team ensure that you operate business as usual. 502-4550 or email sales@teleportone.com.
The most important thing in life is family. And whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at a service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
Searching
for insurance for your beloved senior citizen? Star General offers the Silver Medical Plan for which you can apply up to age 85. The network includes the finest hospitals and healthcare centers worldwide. Insurance is provided through an AM Best A-rated insurer with reinsurance support through Lloyd's of London. Other features include no medical tests required, 4 deductibles, and $2 million lifetime benefits. Visit or call Star General Health and Life Insurance today.
From Sunshine Insurance Company making a sizable donation to the One Family Junkanoo Group and community organization. The group won the Boxing Day and New Year's Day Junkanoo parades, also securing the top prize as music champions. Representatives from One Family headed to Sunshine Insurance today to present their trophies. Instead, they received a $40,000 check.
Proud to be sponsors of One Family. We've been so, I think, for over 10 years. Yes. And we plan to continue that as our expectation that we can continue to grow together and support one another and support the Bahamian culture in Junkanoo.
President of One Family, Christina Fernandez, says the donation will help with the group's community outreaches as well as getting ready for the big showdown on Bay.
As of last year, we decided that in begging for money, we also have to now do things to make ourselves self-sustainable. And so we took our practice, which is the best practice on the island, by the way, and we used that as a fundraising initiative to help the organization.
Well, this next story, the embodiment of when help can't wait. For some of us, the story of cancer is too often, too many. But a family is praying that tonight, it's not one that's too late. Our Anthony Smith has the details in this next report.
For 48-year-old father to Marlon McKenzie, it's been a long, hard road.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
You see, back in 2020, Marlon began to rapidly lose weight and started experiencing changes in his body that didn't quite make sense. But a series of doctor's visits and subsequent tests would ultimately confirm the news that no one wants to get.
When they do run tests on me to the Princess Margaret Hospital, come to find out I had stage 3 colon cancer. They did a colonoscopy, and it couldn't pass through. My rectum couldn't pass through because there was a blockage. So they told me they need to operate on me ASAP. And at that time, COVID was rampant. But everything was an ark of God.
An emergency procedure led to the removal of 27 lymph nodes from McKenzie's cancer-stricken body. And thanks to a few treatments after, Marlon's prognosis was no longer bleak. Fast forward 2 years later, and the thing he and his family feared most would come back. In the same way it appeared before, cancer reared its ugly head.
2 months to about a month ago, I started to feel some changes in my body again. Like it's starting to come back, like I starting to feel a different change.
And doctors at Jackson Memorial Hospital had an answer, a large mass in need of aggressive treatment.
And it come from me out to my back. So they tell me I need to get chemo right away. They took the CT scan and everything. They come with that I have a collateral mass. They say I need to take 6 months of chemo.
So tonight, Marlon needs your help. He's the father of a 12-year-old autistic son and a 6-year-old primary school boy. He admits it's been tough financially since his initial diagnosis, adding that he's made it through only by the grace of God. And tonight he's pleading with the public for help to save his life.
I got my 2 children to live for, and I don't put nothing on myself because I should live and not die. So I ask the public, even if it's $1, $2, whatever y'all could help me out with. Because the chemo over there is very costly. In the States, it's like $100,000, but they say if I bring half down, even whatever anybody could help me out with to save my life through the grace of God.
Anyone wishing to help Marlon and his family can contact him or his wife through the information provided on the screen. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Antoine Smith.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, that feels good enough to eat, and it's good to grow. it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources' long-awaited Agrarian Awards is just a few days away. September 16th at 7 p.m. at Margaritaville, farmers will walk away with top prizes. Finalists for Female Farmer of the Year are Shavara Roker-Enyas of Chickcharney Farms, Whitlin Miller of Sunset Organic Farms, Norma Roberts of Mama Bling Farms in Grand Bahama, and Kevita Green of Duncan Coppice in South Andros. For Male Farmer of the Year, the finalists are Terrence Roberts III of Berkshire Farms in Grand Bahama, Sidney Sinclair of Down to Earth Adventure Farms in New Providence, Ty Gideon of Gideon Farms in Abaco, and Christopher Higgs of Higgs Organic Farm Products here in New Providence. For Governor General Community Farm of the Year, Treasure Key Community Aquaponics Farm in Abaco, Eat and Teach Clinic Farms in New Providence, and Seasonal Sunshine Bahamas in New Providence will contend for that prize. Youth Female Farmer of the Year finalists include Frederica Dames of Deluxe Farm Company in South Andros, Tiore Scott of Grammy Jude's Organic Poultry Eggs in New Providence, Takai Bain, and Kiara McKenzie will all contend for that prize. For the Prime Minister's Youth Male Farmer of the Year, those finalists include Kobe Forbes of New Century Farming in Long Island, Devontae Roll in Exuma, Fintai Bethine of Vacations in Paradise Farms in New Providence, and Tyreek Fowler. Now it's up to the Blue Ribbon panel to decide who will walk away as the winners. That's September 16th at 7 p.m. at Margaritaville. Tune in to the ministry's Facebook page where you can watch the live streaming of that event. For Good to Grow, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Vibrant heart of the Bahamas, a common loftier goal unites us all. A place where love and unity thrive, where world-class technology is accessible and affordable, connecting every generation. We believe in our heritage and the boundless potential that lies within us. We believe in Bahamians.
First we plan, then we innovate, then we build. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we are committed to quality, to safety, and to service. We know that the road you take is just as important as your final destination. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, it is our job to make sure the road and the ride are as smooth as possible. From striping roads to building them, we are the right choice, the trusted choice, the only choice to help you build your tomorrow.
Welcome to the all-new CBS Pro Store. We'll be introducing various products such as plywood, sheetrock, metal stud, and a whole array of bulk construction products. But you can expect the same high level of service that you have been receiving at CBS Bahamas. We originally opened the store in 1980 as our retail location. Hearing from our customers that they wanted us to cater more to contractors, we decided to open the CBS Pro Store here at Robinson Road. So come by and visit us at CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road, where we can help you build beautiful.
Buy Chef Boyardee and Libby's Vienna sausages, and you could be one of 7 lucky winners to receive cash prizes up to $1,000. Take your receipts to Pritchard's on Robinson Road and enter today.
In the supercharged reality we call our daily lives, few things and fewer places still have the capacity to take our breath away. One of those is a near-hidden gem that lies in the heart of the Bahamas, and a local artist had an opportunity to capture it as the island's first artist in residence. For the better part of 5 days, Emmanuel Clark worked alone on the relatively undeveloped Big Samson Key. His brush strokes on canvas creating a permanent repository of the blues and greens of the waters and land around him. The idea of an artist-in-residence program originated with Bob and Jean Coughlin, second home owners in Exuma and the developers of a planned $50 million retreat on Big Samson. When the retreat is built, the Coughlins hope to bring artists in on a regular basis. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Outside of our studios, just a few clouds, temperature at 87 degrees, the relative humidity 65%. We have north-northeast winds at 8 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,016.0 millibars. That is 30.00 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Valleys this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 90 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Greenville Key in Abaco, Marsh, Abaco, 87. 87 also in the Berry Islands, Alistown, Bimini, 85. Harbor Island, 88 degrees. Roxani, Luther, and Artistan, Cat Island at 87. Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, Andros, both reporting 89 degrees. Fresh Creek, Central Andros at 88. 87 in San Salvador, Rumkey, and Georgetown, Exuma, 87s in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 86. Acklands, 86. Matchitown, Nagua, 89. And the Turks and Caicos Islands also reporting 89 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the Northwest and Central Islands, tonight through Wednesday, those winds going to be northeast to north, 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your low tide will occur at 1:37 in the morning with a high tide at 7:31 tomorrow morning. Now for the southeast bombers through Wednesday. North to northwest winds a little stronger at 12 to 18 knots, and the wave heights 3 to 6 feet. And you also can anticipate some very large swells in the southeast Bahamas, which will gradually be spreading into the central Bahamas by Thursday. And then as we take you into Thursday, in the northwest and central parts of our country, the winds become northwest at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide on Thursday, 8:08 in the morning, with a low tide at 2:17 in the afternoon. For the southeast Bahamas, westerly flow at 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet with large swells continuing. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
With our new website, CBS Preferred Contractors can now create estimates with their own logo, use our project calculators to work out pricing, and email quotes directly to clients. It's easier than ever to build beautiful with CBSBahamas.com.
With our new website, you can select a delivery date and time to your house, job site, or the mailboat. Our Family Island customers are loving it. Got questions? Submit them and we'll respond within an hour. Build beautiful throughout the Bahamas with CBSBahamas.com.
You've got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rent-A-Kill Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rent-A-Kill Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rent-A-Kill Initial.
This the most popular job in the Bahamas?
Trust you? Who was big over that? Let me pull up the last labor force survey.
The what?
The labor force survey from the Bahamas National Statistical Institute. The people that used to be the Department of Statistics. They ask people what you do, where you do it, and if you looked for a job in the past month.
But that's probably old database.
The Bahamas National Statistical Institute is collecting new data monthly, and they release it every 3 months. Right here. And be an account, even in the top 5 jobs.
That's only because they're using numbers and science.
The Bahamas Labor Force Survey provides necessary data for nation building.
Hi, everyone. When heading to Florida to shop for your essentials, book your transportation with GoGoFlorida.com. The $100 cash deposit is back now on your debit card. Accepted at Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach, and Orlando. Now, there are lots of options to choose from, but I like the Tesla X, the electric vehicle, because I don't have to worry about gassing up. Or the Jeep Compass seating 5 with lots of space for your luggage or shopping bags. For the best deals, book now at GoGoFlorida.com, BahamasAir.com, and also available at Bahamas Air Sales Office.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Well, welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Last night, playoff action getting rolling at the AF Valley Gym as the Government League playoffs got started. Let's take a quick look and see exactly how things turned out in the first set of games. One team moving on, one team living to play another day. Government League basketball first round, best of 3 playoffs, continuing last night at the AF Valley Gym. Baines and Grantstown Cybots, well, they completed the sweep of the Police Royals with an 80-77 nail-biter victory. Veteran Jeremy Hutchinson led the way. He had 20 points. Giorgio Walks added 15, and Cordero Pinda had 14 points, 11 boards. Another veteran showing up for them as well. That was Brian Tucker Bay, and he had 11. As for the Royals, their season is done. Spurgeon Johnson had 20 in the losing cause. Leslie Dorseyville, 19, and Stephen Roll had 18. In the feature contest, Bamboo Shack Patrollers, they are living to fight another day. They forced a deciding Game 3 with the Airport Authority Avengers as they get a big 84-63 victory. Larikas Armbrister getting it done with game-high 29 points. Kareem Lightburn chipping in. He had 25, and Lorenzo Roll had 10 and 18. Meanwhile, Coach Glover's squad looking good at the end of the day.
Game 1, we didn't do what we was doing all season. So I told the guys, hey, it's all or nothing, and they stepped up.
Men's national soccer team back in action tonight in CONCACAF Nations League play. The squad looking to bounce back after losing 6-1 to Puerto Rico on Saturday right here at home. They'll face Guyana on their home turf this evening. A tough challenge, but the players ready to take it on.
We got to come out much better than we did in the first period. Played just how we played in the second period. So, like I said, the confidence is there, the players is there. We just some key things we got to change. You know, talking, we got to communicate more and move together as a team.
Looking forward to playing away because playing at home, I was always nervous about representing my country on my home field, playing for my family, my friends, like everybody watching me, so I felt a little more pressure. But yeah, in that Puerto Rico game, once the first goal went in, a lot of that pressure was relieved. And I'm hoping that we can do that same thing in Guyana.
Over to bodybuilding, we are one of our top competitors garnering a major accomplishment just recently. Amijal Knowles with the story.
It was certainly a memorable weekend in Tampa, Florida for bodybuilder Teran Knowles at the Gardner Tampa Extravaganza. Knowles took the overall title, winning the men's physique category. He followed that up by claiming a pair of pro cards in the Masters over 35 and over 40 men's physique categories, becoming one of 2 Bahamians with the distinction. Knowles crediting his new workout regimen to his success.
This new regimen that I took on, again, I made it personal, so I didn't share the information, but I started a 24-week prep in the ending of February, right after my birthday, right after all the hoo-ha and the celebration, right? I decided to focus on getting lean, but not to a point where I lose body mass. So with a slower process, you're able to attain more mass.
Despite the major feat, Knowles saying that he may take some time off to soak in the achievement.
What's next for me right now is taking a break. I actually got anxious the other day and saw a flyer to want to compete in one of the Masters Pro competitions, but I was advised by my coaches, Lolita and Chris, that it's time to just take it easy, because by leveling up, you're going to meet a whole new group of competitors who are more hungrier, who definitely been in the game more, so they have more leverage. And when you do present your first debut as that package, you want to be able to be competitive and not just a competitor.
And he has these words of inspiration for anyone wanting to follow a similar path.
I would tell you not to listen to the noise around you, but to stay doing your research, stay focused, be knowledgeable inside the actual art. That means by if it's in taking time to talk to somebody who's been in the league for a certain amount of time, veteran, be it a coach, be it someone who just is your mentor, right? You want to educate yourself. And also, like I said before, it's good to have a good foundation.
whether it be a mom, whether it be a physiotherapist, whether it be a doctor who does your physician work, whether it was your coach, and whether if it's in a girlfriend relationship, just make a bond so tight that they're able to support you during your up and down times, because it's going to be rough. But the idea of when you start to get into this league is to not give up on yourself.
He's currently trained by Lolita Riley and Chris Gutierrez, who are based in Pembroke Pines, Florida. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Amajal Knowles.
And that's it. Your look at sports for you here on this Tuesday. Don't go anywhere. We do have that look at the weather. That is just ahead.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers. It does not matter
which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever sand dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you can be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one and your car say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It's a diesel. Diesel. One word, diesel. Your car up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather in the tropics, we still have Hurricane Lee out there, still a very strong Category 3 hurricane at 5 o'clock. It was some 545 miles to the south of Bermuda. It's moving towards the west-northwest. That has not changed, but it has slowed down its forward speed, now moving west-northwest at 6 miles per hour. Maximum sustained will holding at 115 miles per hour. Now, the forecast track will take it more towards the northwest late tomorrow and then turn it northerly, passing well to the west of Bermuda sometime on Friday as a Category 2 hurricane. And then over there in the far eastern Atlantic, we continue to monitor Margot out there. Margot still a hurricane, packing winds of 85 miles per hour, no threat to any land mass. And the forecast track, keeping Margot on that northerly track. Some weakening is anticipated by Sunday. Could be just a tropical storm as we head into the weekend. And then closer to home, we have high pressure remaining in control of our weather across the Bahamas with Lee well to the east of us, which will continue to generate large swells across the southeast and central Bahamas through tomorrow. And some of those swells will spread into the northwestern parts of our country late Thursday, heading into Friday as well. Our forecast tonight, mainly clear, very warm with a low temperature of 81 degrees. And tomorrow we're looking at mostly sunny with a thunderstorm in spots, particularly in the afternoon with your high temperature around 89 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, isolated showers in the afternoon through Wednesday. Things get a lot better as we head into Thursday and Friday with lots of sunshine in our forecast. But on Saturday, we'll get some return of those showers again, particularly during the morning hours on Saturday. Things dry out again on Sunday. Showers once again returning on Monday. Temperature-wise, they're going to be fluctuating between the upper 80s and low 90s during the daytime. Make it slow.
And before we leave, all definitely not lost with our young people, as recently 31 high achievers from the H.O. Nash Junior High received full scholarships to attend senior high schools of their choice this new academic year. LaDon Davis spoke to the principal about the students' outstanding BJC performances and to the recipients about their career paths.
It would give me great opportunities later down, especially when it comes to college time.
Satavani Fox racked up 5 A's in the BJC national examinations, and add to that 3 B's and 2 C's. These good grades landed her a full scholarship to St. Andrew's School for the next 2 years.
It's a very different experience compared to it, even culture-wise. But it hasn't been easy, but it hasn't been difficult, I should say. So far, I would say it's going smooth with a few bumps.
With 11 A's under her belt, future financial analyst and architect Bernice Ulysse will continue her straight-A track record at the C.L. Walker Senior High School with 5 other scholarship recipients.
I'd like to start studying more because I can tell that the BGCSEs requires even more work than the BJCs did, and I'd like to achieve just as much A's as I can, maybe all A's if possible.
H.O. Nash Junior High Principal Andre Nairn says the scouting of students by some of the top schools in this country is a testament of the dedication put in by not only the teachers but parents into the academic success of students.
It means that it means that we're doing something right at Nash. It means that our teachers are working nicely, and it means that, and so it makes us feel good. It's a proud moment to see our kids all over and to know that they're representing not only they represented H.O. Nash very well, and so we're thankful for that, and we hope that continues. Students can't achieve the results that they have achieved if the parents are not involved in it. If the parents are not doing their part, then that doesn't happen. So we're very thankful to our parents who, whenever we call upon them, they're ready to assist.
Nairn says students at the H.O. Nash continue to attract top private high schools, including Queens College, St. John's College, and Kingsway Academy, who offer scholarships to the top public schools. He hopes this partnership to promote academic excellence continues. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDon Davis.
Well, that does it for the Bahamas Tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
A quick shock treatment will put your life in check.